Okay, good morning, dear students. So, what is our last topic? What is our last discussion? Please give me reply in chat box. What we have discussed, race. Okay. So, the classification of data structures we discussed already, right? So only the names part I have covered. Yeah, one-dimensional arrays, right? So in this class, I'm going to cover you the remaining part of classification of data structures. Okay, so arrays concept we completed already. So in the arrays having only single dimensional we saw, but actually arrays having two-dimensional arrays, at the same time multi-dimensional arrays. So this arrays concept is almost same in every language. Every programming language you should learn arrays. If you take Java, if you learn Java, if you learn Python, if you learn R programming or whatever it is, almost all the object-oriented programmings, these concepts will come surely. So in our yesterday's class example, I have given you for a single dimensional array. So multi-dimensional array and two-dimensional arrays are the different types of arrays. So multi-dimensional array, quickly I will show you the example because this is not included in your syllabus arrays concept, but as a matter of fact, I'm telling two-dimensional arrays declaration look like, for example, int marks of 6. What it really means, see here. So integer data types of marks. For example, if you want to display the marks of two students, for example, a student having 6 subjects, let us consider this example of 2 students. I'm going to display 2 students marks of 6 subjects. That is why I'm declaring like this. Otherwise, these 2 represents rows and these 6 represents column, rows and columns. So if you want to display rows and columns wise, totally how many elements are there? 2 by 6, 2 rows and 6 columns. Or anyway you can represent by using the two-dimensional array. Two-dimensional array consists of rows and columns. So this consists of row measure and column measure. So I am not going in detail about this concept because our syllabus is different. So up to now I'm concluding this. After that, multi-dimensional array. Multi-dimensional array means more than two-dimensional arrays is called multi-dimensional array. So single dimensional array having only one value. For example, int marks of 2. That's it. Only 2 marks will be displayed, and that means 2 elements only inserted into array. But here, two-dimensional array mean what? More than one single dimensional array is called two-dimensional array. I'm giving you clarity. More than one dimensional array is called as two-dimensional array. At the same time, more than one two-dimensional array is called multi-dimensional array, right? So this is the definition of multi-dimensional array. So multi-dimensional array declaration look like, for example, whether it is Java or C, C++, whatever it is, the declaration is same. Multi-dimensional array is nothing but two-dimensional array, three-dimensional array, or whatever it is are coming under multi-dimensional array only. For example, int array is my array name, or otherwise in CRR you can say in CRR. So this is how we can give, and we can allow some values. For example, 1 comma 2 comma 3, comma 4 comma 5 comma 6. For example, 11 comma 12 comma 13. Likewise, some 14 comma 66 comma 54. Just my own values I'm taking. You can take any type of values. All the values are integers only. Okay. Then some 67, 76, 88. 77, 99, 60, 60. So this is how multi-dimensional array look likes. So this is the outline of multi-dimensional arrays. So here total how many elements? My array size is total 3. Okay. Here 3 pairs of square brackets represents a 3-dimensional array, and there are 3 rows representing the 3 departments. In each department there are again 2 groups representing the marks of 2 students. So observe the open curly left curly braces and right curly braces used to represent each group. So this is the group for storing the marks. Okay, this is how. Just a minute. Excuse me. So see here, by using the help of the 3-dimensional arrays, I am representing the 3 department student marks. The 3 department student marks. So the first department, for example, this is civil. Civil having student 1 marks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the student marks, 1 student mark. And the second student marks, second department marks 11, 12, 13, 14, 66, 54. And the third department of the third student 67, 76, 88, 77, 99, 60. These are the 6 subject marks. Or in a way you can give. This is how one type of representation of displaying marks in the form of multi-dimensional array. Okay, so this is enough for you for the concept of arrays. Next, we'll move on to the next data structure. So what is the next data structure? Already I have shown you yesterday. After arrays, stack and linked list. Okay, let us talk about stack and after that linked list. So all these are very big concepts. So just I'm giving you overview. After that, every data structure is called as a unit here. So in that unit, in detail, we'll go through it. So this time I'm telling the stack. So yes, linked list and stack also we'll discuss, no problem. So now we'll talk about stack first. Stacks and queues. Right, let me share my screen. Okay. So stack is the another data structure. So just first, what is a stack first of all? So here we are seeing that bunch of books placed upon or after another. So see here, this is the nature of the stack. So 1, 2, 3, 4. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Total 10 books are placed. So this is the, if you give the number for these books, up to 10 books are placed here. Okay. So after that, what will happen? A stack is a data structure of ordered items such that items can be inserted and removed only at one end. Graphically also I'll show you. Just I'm giving the small definitions here. Just syllabus. They asked only classification. So in detail explanation, I'll give you in the units wise. So stack is a data structure of ordered items such that items can be inserted and removed only at one end. Only one end is possible by using the help of the stack. So with the stack, what can we perform? What can we perform? We can push, we can peek, we can pop. Peek means seek or top. So for example, by using the push operation, these are the operations of a stack. So by using the push operation, we can place an item, we can place an element into the stack. After that, pop means it is used to remove the element from the stack. What is peak or what is top? Top means look at the item on the top of the stack, but do not remove it. So top means it will tell the position. Top means top or a peak is nothing but what the actual meaning of top of the stack or the peak of the stack is. It will tells the position. So for example, if a water bottle consists of water, so after emptying some water from the bottle, it will shows us the level. So that indicates the top of the stack. So how much elements are there in the stack that will resembles the top of the stack. Peak is also called as top of the stack. With the example, you can clearly understand. So just for here topic sake, just you listen here. So in that syllabus next unit, already we are having separate unit for stacks. By that time, I'll give you each and every point regarding the stack with example program and real examples also. Okay. So these are the operations on the stack. Stack is a last in first out data structure. Last in first out means what? Already here, see the books. So all the books, 10 books are placed here, one upon another. So if we want to take this book, for example, third book, if you want to take the third book, just I'm highlighting the book, you can see. So if you want to take this book, third book, if you want to take, what shall I do now? Simply, I'll throw all the above books and shall I get it? Is it right? System will do like that. System will do like that. Maybe we can do. So simply we can throw all the books on the top of the books. We can grab it easily. But system won't do like that. System, what system will do? System means, computer means it will work as per the instruction only. It cannot do as human wishes. That means as we can do. Simply it will follow some order. So stack, that means a system will do it will remove the top book from that list. After that, next book, after that, next book, and so on up to these books, it will remove first, one by one. Only one book is allowed, only one attempt is allowed. At a time, one operation should be done at the stack. Only one end. Insertion and deletion, both are placed at only one end. That is stack. So if you want to take this book or this book, last book, so the first book placed will come out last. This is the passion of the stack. This is the nature of the stack. This is the operation of the stack. All the three are same. So the stack will work on the principle of last in first out order, last in first out manner. The first book that you placed upon the table will come last. The elements also like that only. So if you want to take this book, if you want to retrieve this book, actually this book is placed at what position? Last position, but it will come out first. This is the nature of the stack. So a stack is sometimes also called as push down store. Push down store means just simply we are pushing or inserting the elements into the store. Store is called stack. So there are different types of applications by using stack. Program execution, passing, evaluating, postfix, expressions. All these applications we can use stack. So many, not only these three, many applications are there. So in coming classes, you can see the applications of stacks clearly. So here, what happens if we try to pop an item of the stack when the stack is empty? So that means a stack having different conditions. There are two different conditions. One is stack underflow and another one is stack overflow condition. For example, let us consider if a water bottle doesn't have water, is it possible to drink water? If the bottle is empty, there is no water in the bottle, is it possible to drink the water? No, not at all. Because as you know, that bottle is already empty. So here also, if the stack is empty, it is not possible to delete the element. That condition is called underflow condition. So if the bottle is full, for example, water bottle is full with water, full of water. So after that, is it possible to pour any extra water in that bottle? Not at all. If you pour some water in the full bottle, it will overflow. Simply nothing but wastage. Here also same. That condition is called stack underflow. Okay. So that is the stack data structure. So stack implementation, we can implement the stack using two ways. There are two ways we can implement a stack. One is array and another one is linked list. We can implement, clearly understand, we can implement the stack by using array, by using linked list. Already we know about array. And linked list also similar, but not similar. There are some differences with respect to arrays. We can implement stack. That means we can manufacture or we can execute the stack with the help of array and linked list. That is the concept here. Don't be confused. So we can implement. What is the implementation part? What is implementation? Just let us consider this example. So a civil engineer will give plan for a construction of new building. Just he will draw a plan. After that, engineer will, after that the builder will follow the procedures. That means he will contact the mason, he will contact the carpenter, painter. All these are coming under implementation parts. So here we are implementing the stack using array and linked list. This concept is very important. That is why I'm emphasizing on this terminology. Implementing a stack using array and linked list. After that, it will come. This is the heading. Implementing a stack. Implementing a stack. So what is the implementation of a stack? Stack is already there. Array is already there. So both are data structures, but with the help of array, with the help of linked list, we can implement the stack. That is the concept here. Don't be confused. Just you all are beginners for these data structures. Don't worry about it. Coming classes, I'll give you clarity. Definitely, it'll give you you can get clarity. Just as we are in the starting session. So this is how we can implement the stack. So implementing a stack using an array is fairly easy when compared to uh, linked list. Reversing a word also possible. So next one, queue. Just a minute. The next data structure is queue. Right? Okay. So that is the concept up to stack. Next concept, next data structure is queue. So what is a queue? So already you know, in our day-to-day lives, we may stand in the queue sometimes, right? Just 1 second. Somebody is drawing a line. Don't do like that. Okay. So this is the queue. Queue is also a linear data structure. It has two ends. It has two ends. Insertion is possible at one end and deletion is possible at another end. So see here, in the airport inquiry, so all of them are standing in a queue. So the first person, the first lady carrying the trolley, you can see the picture what I'm sharing in the PPT. So the first lady that's standing before the receptionist will access the information first. After that, next person, after that, next person, after that, next person. So this is the procedure that you know in a general queue. But in the system also, procedure is same. What is that? The queue is a linear data structure. It has two ends. One is front and another one is rear. In that, we can insert the elements into rear and we can delete the elements from the front. We're having two types of ends. So queue is a data structure of ordered items such that items can be inserted only at one end and removed at the other end. This is the queue. This is the general and normal queue. Insertion is possible at only one end, that is called rear. And deletion is possible at only one end, that is called front. Rear, FRONT, front. These are the two ends of a queue. For every general normal queue having these two types of ends. Insertion is possible at rear end and deletion is possible at front end. So in the two ends, we can insert the elements into the queue. One from insertion and another from the deletion. So if you want to delete any element from the queue, we can use that end front. So example, a line at the supermarket. Already I shown you. So what can we do with a queue? So NQ means adding an element into the queue. That is push. If it is a stack, we can call it as a push operation. But when come to the queue, it is called NQ. This is the technical term. Okay, you can use earphones. Already I'm shouting here. Still I'm in the college. You can use earphones or you can increase your volume. Better connect with good network. So already here I'm shouting. So use earphones or make sure that your internet connection is stable or not. So if it is a stack, we can call it as the operation push. But in the queue, it is called NQ. This is the technical term. In the programming, in the implementation part, in the programming, we can write our code as NQ, push and pop operations. So if you want to delete an item, that is the DQ operation. This is the technical term for inserting and deleting. We know insert and delete, but system knows in the programmatically this is correct. NQ operation and DQ operation. NQ means add an item to the queue. Remove means DQ means remove an item from the queue. This is how queue operations will be performed. So these operations are also called insert and get friend in order to simplify things. So queue is a FIFO fashion, first in, first out. Already we shown the diagram, first in, first out fashion diagram. So whoever will come will serve first. That means first come, first serve basis. Who will come first? That candidate going to access the first access. So what are some applications of queues? So queue applications are round robin scheduling in processors, input output processing, queuing of packets for delivery networks. All these topics are these topics come in maybe third year, I think so, third year or second year. So round robin scheduling means, so you know scheduling. So if you give any request to your computer through a program from the keyboard, so ultimately who will catch that request? Tell me. Suppose you are using mobiles day to day. So if you give any instruction or if you install any app, where it will be installed? Is RAM working in your mobiles? So for example, if you are having only 2 GB of RAM in your mobile, you installed nearly 70 or 65 apps. So after that, you are trying to install another app, but your RAM is full. Your RAM is full. Is it possible to install the next app? Is it possible to install the next app? No. What it will display? It will display a message. Your RAM size is space is running out, right? Did you see that message? RAM size is running out. Manage the space or clear up the space in the RAM, right? So RAM is the important one to execute all this. So there processor and RAM will both work to function something. So here also, if you give any input to the system, it will from the keyboard, the CPU will catch it. That CPU means what? Processor. i3, i7, i5, all we are talking. So processor will take processor and RAM, both will work together. So the request is catched by CPU, that means processor. So it will, everything is under the processor only. So if you want to buy a new mobile, ultimately what you will check first? Processor, RAM, screen size, and different specifications are there. So first of all, the first preference, if it is a laptop or a PC or a mobile, first of all, we'll check the processor. So processor is the master of the bus. It will control everything. So processor is having authority over every part of the system. So it will schedule the every device. Already in first year subject, that means PSPU, some subject is there. So maybe you learned in that. Processor will control everything. That means it's having arithmetical. If it is a arithmetic request, it will send to that department. If it is a logical, so all these ALU, arithmetic logical operations, it will transfer that request to ALU unit. Otherwise, it is having different departments in processor. So processor will allot the respective work to the respective department. So here that is called scheduling. There are different types of schedulings in processor. So for understanding this on this line, I'm telling all this. So because you are new to this subject now, that is why I'm telling. So a processor having different types of schedulings. So round robin is one of the scheduling type. So don't bother about so different names are displaying. We don't know. So round robin is the name. This is the one of the type of scheduling algorithm. Scheduling means what? We are scheduling Zoom classes for so and so time to so and so time this class, so and so time to so and so time that class. So processor also schedules works in the different passions. Round robin is one of the passion. In that area, queues are used. Input output processing here also. Queuing of packets for delivery networks. So delivery network means what? For example, if you want to buy a breakfast, for example, or any fruits. So if you go first to the shop, you'll get first fruits. Likewise, here also packets are for delivery networks. So in network, everything in network means internet, nothing but. So in internet, who will come first? that candidate will access first. Which packet come first? Packet means here data, nothing but data. So our data is broken down into packets, data packets. That is called data packets. In next year, you may learn computer network subject. So in that subject, you can learn about these data and packets, how the internet will work and all everything. So in those areas also, queues are used. So implementing a queue is also possible by using arrays and linked list. Just like a stack, we can implementing a queue in two ways. One is arrays and another one is queue. In two data structures, we can implement the queue. So are you clear this concept implementing a stack, implementing a queue with arrays and linked list? How we can implement, I'll show you. But there is a possibility we can implement a queue using array and linked list. So this is the NQ and this is the DQ operation. So this is the code. Now it is not required for you. So these two are enough for this class because you may confuse if I tell you more on the same class. So if you are having any doubts regarding stack and queue, so not completed the total stack and queue concept because the coming units we can discuss in detail. What are the different operations on stack and what are the different operations on queue? So totally uh, in today's class we discussed about the concept under the classification of data structure. We discussed about stacks and queues. Stacks and queues. Arrays also we finished with examples. So in the next class, I'll tell you linked list, trees and graphs. Then I'll move on to the next concept. Next class, I'll finish those three examples. After that, we can move on to the next concept also. So stack is having, it is a both stack and queues are linear data structures. Stack follow which fashion? It consists of push and pop operations. For insertion, push operation is helpful and pop operation deletion. And it will follow first in, last out. Or you can say first element inserted will come last out or LIFO. Last in, first out. You can say like this. This is the fashion of the stack, last in, first out. Only one end is possible to insert and delete. Elements having different types of operation, that is called top of the stack. I'll show you with example programs and implementation of stack in the coming classes. Don't worry. That is up to stack. Just I'm differentiating these two. Queue. Queue means linear data structure that will follow first in, first out fashion. It having two operations, front and so rear and front. Rear and front. These are the two operations for push and pop, not for inserting and deleting. These two operations are called NQ and DQ. These two are the operations. Top of the queue is also there. Top of the queue is also there. So top of the queue indicates the status of the queue. On what are the elements? It will tells the position of the stack. In the real example, we can clearly get the top of the stack meaning. Okay. So if you have any doubts, please search PDF. So what PDF? So once again, I'm telling you all, after the completion of the unit 1 only, I'll provide you the material. Okay. So for all of you, those who want material, you can maintain running notes. Running notes is very, very useful because in class, I'll tell you more points regarding the subject, regarding the real world complaints. So better all of you maintain running notes if you want really. This class will helpful in your future also, not only for marks. If you really want, you can maintain. Otherwise, I'm not forcing anyone. Just if you want notes, it's better to maintain running notes. After the completion of unit only, I'll provide you material for the entire unit. Don't worry about it. Meanwhile, you can refer the running notes. So already I'm showing you, I'm displaying you the PPTs, and in the whiteboard also I'm writing and typing. So in the classroom also the same thing we'll do. Okay. So if you're having any doubts regarding these two stacks and queue, you can send me any message so that I'll give you clarity. Otherwise you may leave because the time is also ended up. Right. This is the type of classification in data structures, right?